It is time to expand minds through movies, TV, sports, and flicks. It is time to boldly go where no podcast has gone before. It is time for the Captain Talks Flicks.
The Captain Talk Flicks.
Welcome to the Captain Talks Flicks podcast. I'm your host, Captain Cortez, aka Mr. Love, and this is Whale Talk Flicks. And ladies and gentlemen, this past week, I was chosen to wear a ring in St. Oath, and that ring is green. You know where I'm going with this. So I'm going to get into that. First couple things. I want to give a shout out to Madrid, Spain, Madrid, España, Madrid and España. Got some plays in Madrid this past week. Gracias, gratitude, toda. And Madrid. This past week, I was having salsa, and the salsa's name was Jose Madrid. Not even lying, it's called Jose Madrid salsa. Really good. Out of Ohio, would have been the West, phenomenally good salsa. And to be clear, I'm not getting paid to say this. I just like the salsa, it's good. And it has Madrid in the name. Your city, Madrid. Listen to my podcast. See how the universe works? It just works like that. You listen. I had salsa. It's called Jose Madrid. It all balances out, bro. So it is, yes, I had the salsa. Thank you, Spain. And additionally, this episode is brought to you by the album called The Lucha Of Language by Che Mysterio, which is actually me. I took out another alias, another way of being, so I could construct this album under the House of Cortez, label, where we do just more crazy underground stuff than the Exist Fiction label. We do crazy stuff in Exist Fiction, but the House of Cortez, we just dive into aliases and soundscapes are just going to be absolute madness. I'll describe them. So anyways, if you want to hear the Lucha of Language album, I'll put it below. Check it out. Now, let's get on the podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, after waiting a decade plus, for the Green Lanterns to be in live action. Now, I know he was in Superman, but I'm talking about have their own thing. It's literally been a super long time. Now, real quick, before I get into the Lantern show, because I'm talking about the Lantern show today, the first episode of the pilot, I'm going to tell you the backstory about why the Lantern means so much, the character, okay? So, initially, when I was a young human being, we're talking 20s, this is well known, encountered some adversity. And so that adversity, I just kind of had to recover and rest from it. It took a long time. It just took a long time. I was down and out. I experienced a lot where it's just like, just a lot of things happened. And so I had to kind of just recover and bounce back. Now, one of the things that helped me to kind of rise and, get back into, a better space was hip hop. I took on the name Che Cortez, the Captain, and just started rapping regular day in and day out. And as time progressed, I started doing podcasts and all these other things. And, the rest is history. I've been doing this for a long time. After I kind of had to rise from, struggle. Now, in that process, though, when I became Che Cortez, or to be the artist, I used a lot of Green Lantern imagery. And inspired by a green mask. I have a Green Lantern ring on my finger right now, and I wear it every day. And I've been wearing it since 2011, 10. I mean, this is my everyday wear, right? Every day I literally have a Green Lantern ring on my finger, right? So there's a lot of imagery in the music. I wore a green mask, kind of influenced by that. Okay, you kind of do the MF Doom thing, but more for Green Lantern, where he's got Dr. Doom. So if you've never read a Green Lantern comic or know anything about Green Lantern, period, basically the Green Lantern is like a space cop, intergalactic space cop. He kind of patrols our sector of space, and that's what he is. And he has no superpowers. He has a ring, and he uses his mind and imagination to create things with the ring and use it as a weapon or protection or whatever, right? The ring is just basically a high-tech device. That's all it is. And it's a high-tech alien device. And he was chosen because of, his good ethics or whatever. They thought he was a good person. He's fearless, whatever. He's not afraid. And he gets to wield the technological device. And that's pretty much this. But what I loved about the Green Lantern in general is the willpower. The will, the imagination fuels the ring. So in my everyday walking life, I don't have a real Green Lantern ring, but my will and my imagination does construct the way my life moves. And for the last, 10, 20 years, it has been that. But in the place I told you about earlier, where I was kind of down and out, one of the ways to kind of rise was kind of accessing that Green Lantern story. It's about the willpower, creativity. And in my everyday life, I would do that, right? I read this book, and I talked about this numerous times, called The Alter Ego Effect. It explains kind of taking on characters or from books or people kind of embody their characteristics so you can just, do better at life. Now, before I read the book, I really already lived this. So by the time I got access to the book, I lived almost the whole book. I literally almost lived the whole book. And he explains in the book how you go about doing this to take those attributes and just improve yourself in many different situations. Like I just said, I literally lived it before I read the book. I read the book. I was like, I already lived this for the most part. And so the reason I'm telling you this is because that's how important the Green Lantern was in my life, right? I don't talk about it a lot because there's not been a lot to talk about. I mean, I talk about Star Trek all the time because Star Trek's the same thing. Star Trek's been it's hugely impactful in my life. And, probably more than Green Lantern because there's been more of it. But Green Lantern, it was the moment in time when it was down and out. Like super down and out. And with no disrespect to Jean-Luc Picard, Star Trek, they didn't get me out of that. It was hip hop and it taking on the, iconography, the imagery, the vibes of Green Lantern. And then so I read Green Lantern a lot. I read the comic regularly. Read a lot of the old school, graphic novels I get a chance to read. The one that really gravitated to me was where he becomes Parallax. But basically, he has such a huge loss that he basically becomes evil or bad. He becomes Parallax, right? And that story, really hit hard because like as a human being, we get hit with stress and so much stress, and just there's a moment in time where there's almost so much stress you take, it just lose it. I mean, just literally lose it. And that might even be one of the comics where if you ever see the iconic cover of Green Lantern where he's got all the hands, 10 rings on it. I love that cover. It's literally my favorite comic cover probably of all time. I might post on social media. I have a post on my social media years back, but it's literally my favorite cover. Dude's there, Hal Jordan. He got 10 rings in each hand, looking absolute insane. Love the cover. I think that's part of the whole graphic novel that I'm talking about. But anyways, just the fact that to be down and out and to rise up, every superhero pretty much has a story, but with the Green Lantern, the willpower, creativity, fuels your destiny or fuels your tool. I love that. So, fast forward to now. We had one movie with Ryan Reynolds, and people seem to think that's not that good, and they don't care for it. Personally, I think it was that bad. I mean, so let me just tell you that real quick before I get the show. And I've talked about this many times on the podcast. So you have books, and you have comic books, you have video games, or whatever the source material is. And then what's adapted for a TV show or a movie, a lot of times it's not like that. And I know people get mad about it because they want it to be like the source material. And many times in the movie making industry and all this, they just don't do it like that. And so the way I look at it is this is the inspiration for the project we're doing here, right? It's not going to be word for word or just like this, but it's going to be what we do in our way to honor that. So we're going to stay true to the roots of your characters and your world, but give our own spin on it. And so I think modernly, currently, and I've talked about this over and over again, because all the franchises are doing this. Star Trek, Star Wars, X-Men, Avengers, it doesn't matter. The point is as time passes, people age out, people get old, storytelling changes. The interpretation or the art around the characters or shows or whatever, books, whatever you talk about, will shift and morph into ways that maybe if you're older, you don't, it's not like it's not like the old stuff, right? And this is the nature of being alive. It's this is not just with shows, with everything. So now Green Lanterns. Really, after watching this, it's basically a very grounded in reality portrayal of the superhero world. I'd probably align it and say it's just a category of Logan. I think to date, the most realistic, grounded in reality superhero. Part of that, another super with the dude from The Office. That particular one, I feel it's super grounded in reality, in my opinion. But if we're talking about all these big blockbuster superhero films and stuff, I think Logan is the most grounded reality superhero show movie we've had, right? I feel this Lantern show is right with that. So it feels very real, and it's basically just it's a crime show. It's a crime thriller to investigate a crime. It's what's happening. At least first episode. It may change as we go further, but it really felt like you're watching a detective show. It kind of felt like True Blood or True Detective. It just felt very grounded in reality. And personally, I like that. I had said on the podcast of Logan how it was so grounded in reality. It was a shift. It was different than the other things they've been doing. All the other superheroes and shows have been very formulaic and they had a certain style. This was just way different than that. And I would say Joker too, that came out similar as well. It's more ground reality take on it. So based on that, the Lantern is fantastic. And just let me get into the choices of the actors. Now, after watching it, Jon Stewart, I feel the voice is the voice that I would choose for him. Also, his voice kind of reminds the guy from the cartoon, the Justice League cartoon. Very similar, not quite the same, but it had that same tone in his mannerisms. From reading the books, from watching the cartoon, I felt he really did embody the character to me. Now, Hal Jordan, not quite what I've read or experienced with him, but like I said, this is artistic interpretation of those characters in that world. And there might be arcs and spaces, places that I haven't seen where he is these particular attributes, right? But the Hal Jordan I've seen didn't really align with that, but it doesn't matter. Like, we're gonna see what happens with this. And also too, the end of the first episode, something huge happens like right out the gate, like damn, bro. So this show should be very interesting. So far with the superhero shows I've watched, I don't think we've seen anything similar to this. Maybe Peacekeeper is kind of in the same space. But like I said, this is a very realistic portrayal of a superhero show, like seriously. Like, I mean, they're using more mental crime solving techniques than superpowers, which is no problem. It's all good. I'm sure as we go further along this show, there'll be more superpower thing happening. So personally, I think it's great. But I am a huge Lantern fan, bro. Like way back, like literally. Seriously, there's like a Green Lantern looking at me right now on this desk. So anyways, I'm going to watch the whole season. I'll continue watching it. I hope you liked it. I hope you enjoyed it. Now, I haven't went on the internet and looked at what people are saying about it. I don't even have no idea. I like it though. I think it's good. So I didn't even get into the actual what's happening on the show. But there's a lot of, things I could break down. But we'll already go along. So I'll do that next episode. But I just kind of want to give some, the backstory of why I'm so into it. Like the general vibe of Green Lantern in general. Now, to be clear, I'm not a super expert Green Lantern fan. I've read a lot of the books, watched most of the animations, saw the movie, right? But I know there's a lot more versed people in Green Lantern than I am. 100%. I've read all the books. I haven't had time to read all the books. But I've gotten, key stories and I understand the character. I feel I understand the character. So anyways, Green Lantern, bro. He's back after many years. Hal Jordan, bro. And yeah, and so one additional thing too, if you want to watch the show, we'll put a link to our Amazon Associates account. So, you can support the podcast by watching it. I think it's great. You should check it out. So yes, thanks for joining me. This concludes the podcast. And until next time, we'll see you. In brightest day, in blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power. Green Lantern's light. Till next time, it's Captain Peace.
The Captain Talk Flicks.